Hello, friends, and welcome to the show. Welcome to today's holiday edition of Live Level Up Conversation. Whether you're tuning in live or catching me on replay, thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends, and happy holidays. Do jump in, let me know where you're joining me from and how your week's been going. I don't know about you, but it's been a pretty rocky few weeks for my household here. We're just getting to be feeling a little bit back to normal. But welcome to the show. I am Winnie's Sun, your host and award-winning financial pro, a Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. And yes, in fact, we are streaming here on several different social media platforms as we are here in the last few days of the 2023 year. Let's jump right in. I want to tell you how the market's doing currently. So the Dow is currently up 65 points. NASDAQ is up 12 as well. And the S&P 500 is up, not that much, it's up 2, but we'll take it. Positive is positive, right? And we like to see those green numbers. I'm definitely taking a look at what's happening before the market's gonna close at about 45 minutes here, but we'll definitely catch up and see how the market's doing before we close up today's show. So if you're joining me right now live, thank you so much for being here. Let me know how you are doing and of course where you are joining me from. Let me just tell you, I'm so grateful to be back. Stock markets are of course showing just sort of like not too much activity today, but this is to be expected. In fact, a lot of my friends in the media, they're actually not even coming back into work until sometime next week. I sent a couple emails seeing how people are doing and like literally out of office emails over and over again. So the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, though, relatively flat today, and you see Dow Jones as well. Pretty quiet day. And in fact, this is the 8th week of a winning streak for the longest for the S&P 500, Dow, and NASDAQ since the 2017 year. So this is showing that at least for 2023, this is going to probably be a pretty good year. In fact, many analysts are even saying that this might even give us an all-time high before the year's end. But we'll see how last few days happens. You never say it's going to end well until it ends well, right? We've learned that time and time again with the financial markets. Now, the tech-heavy NASDAQ, though, is on track for the most significant annual gain since 2000 in 2003, recording a 50% surge. In fact, now we are currently in what they call the Santa Claus rally. Now, if you've never heard of this term, this encompasses a period that encompasses the last 5 trading days of each trading year and the first 2 days of the following years. This is what they call the Santa Claus rally. So during this time, historically, the S&P 500 has risen by an average about 1.3%. Now, you may not say that's a huge number, but that's such a great way to go into the new year's. Now, I will tell you though, for many years, so January tends to be a difficult time for the financial markets. So hopefully that's not the case this year. So I would just say, with everything, look long term, make sure you're diversified, and really be smart about how you manage your finances, right? Now, many people are quite optimistic, and they're really hoping that come March of 2024, that the Fed will start to talk about decreasing interest rates. In fact, I've been seeing a study that came out on CNBC talking about how analysts were thinking this might have a 70% probability of a rate cut. So I'm curious to see how you feel. Do you think the Fed's going to reduce rates in their March meeting? I'm not sure, but I certainly hope so, because that means that we're going in the right direction. Hopefully inflation will start to come down, and hopefully that also means that comes spring and summertime, on all the things that you need to purchase for you and your household, that prices won't be as crazy high as well, right? All right, so next story I want to share with you is, well, you know I don't know about you, but I wasn't here last week. Had a lot of stuff going on. Won't even get in that. A lot of stuff going on, but back now. Um, But on this show, we talk a lot about some business stories, some trendy business stories of certain executives and certain companies and what they're doing and things that we're paying attention to. Well, get this. Elon Musk, unfortunately, is once again in the hot seat. And this is not for a good thing. We are here in the December month. And for many companies, perhaps your company, perhaps where you're working, right? Well, this is a time when we sort of look forward to holiday bonuses. I know with my team, this is a time when I get together with my business partner and we discuss like what these bonuses will look like. It's actually one of my favorite times of year to do this because it's a time to show our gratefulness for everything that our team has delivered for us, right? Well, get this. A federal judge has now allowed a lawsuit to take place against X, which was formerly known as Twitter, to proceed, in which employees are saying that the company had promised, but then failed to pay millions of dollars in bonuses. In fact, a lawsuit was filed in June by one of their employees, who was a former senior director of compensation at Twitter, and saying that this was a breach of contract under California law. Now, according to this employee, Twitter had orally promised employees 50% of their targeted 2022 targeted bonuses if they stayed in place through the first quarter of 2023. However, unfortunately, these bonuses were never paid. And so now this is resulting to a dispute that is actually in the area of $5 million. So it's quite a lot of money. So this is now going to be going to trial. Of course, Twitter is saying that this is not the case. And they're saying that this did not constitute to be a contract, even though it was an oral promise, and that Texas law should apply. Because I guess what I'm reading from, what the articles I've been reading about this is saying, of course, Texas law seems to be a lot more employer friendly versus California law, which they say should have governed this case. This is what the employers are arguing. So we'll see how that turns out. But I'm curious to see how you feel about that. Do you feel like the company should pay? Obviously, we know that Twitter, which is now X, seems to not be doing quite as well as it was doing previously. And from what I'm reading, it wasn't doing that well to begin with. So they've lost a lot of advertisers, and certainly a lot of users have flocked and gone to different places. But I don't know. I just feel like that's just not adding another positive piece of being an employee there, and of course being a user of the platform as well. And welcome, IC CrossX Fighter. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube Led. It is such a treat to have you. Yes, thank you so much for welcoming me back. I miss being on this show, and I'm really grateful to be back here. And I'm most grateful to have you join me as well. And I see a lot of friends today on all the different platforms. Welcome. It is awesome to be here with you. All right. This next story, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but I was just like, wow, this has got to be a total buzzkill for this company in particular, because Apple Watches, believe it or not, couldn't be sold for some time in, get this, the prime of December, like the prime days of when people were making their holiday shopping, right, for Christmas and Hanukkah and all those holidays where people were gifting. Well, seems like temporarily as of today, this is going to be okay. But is Apple no longer going to be able to sell their brand new Apple Watches? Well, an appeals court temporarily has halted this import ban on Apple Watches, which is allowing, of course, Apple to continue to sell its latest models. Now, we're talking the Series 9 and the Ultra 2 Apple Watch. This was in response to the International Trade Commission, the ITC, which came about in October, which cited intellectual property infringement regarding the blood oxygen sensor from something called Masimo, which is a medical technology firm. So, talk about the worst time to be able to sell these watches, right? Well, this motion, they're saying that because of this ITC ban, temporarily Apple literally couldn't sell these two brand new products. And so they were selling, of course, a lot of older models or, different models, but this was definitely something I'm sure the folks at Apple were very disappointed about, because obviously we know, aside from the whole year, this is the ultimate shopping time of the year. Second being, of course, back to school. but I don't think people buy as many Apple products as they do around the holidays. So this temporary time that allows people now to buy these Apple Watches, unfortunately, that was just announced today. So for a lot of people, they weren't able to get perhaps the models that they wanted. I don't know if they were, but I'm guessing that because they couldn't sell them, that wasn't the case. But this ban doesn't affect the Apple Watch SC, which is an older model, which lacks this blood oxygen level reading. But if the watch has that, well, unfortunately, this meant they couldn't sell it for quite some time. And now there's a temporary where you're able to. So Apple Watches were actually temporarily unavailable on Apple's website with no immediate comment from the Apple representative. And so, yeah, there was a ban. And in fact, the President Joe Biden's administration declined to veto the ban, leading to Apple to have to remove both the devices from their website. Get this, on December 21st, and from its physical stores after December 24th. So, yeah, bad day for Apple. Hopefully that'll come back. And I'm curious to see, for those of you joining me live, like, do you have an Apple Watch? Did you decide to like get a new one? Did you gift a new one? Did you have any issues with that? Did that impact your decision on what you decided to gift this holiday season? I guess right now the watch is available, but it's unfortunate. I'm sure that definitely impacted a lot of people. But if you were one of the folks who started shopping earlier, right? Maybe right after Black Friday and beyond, you're probably okay. But yeah, very disappointing, I'm sure. And hopefully, news will come back and then the watch will be available, because I do love this new medical technology being available in smartwatches to help all of us monitor our health numbers and everything else. Let me just tell you. So in my family, let me just say, we all got sick, right? Like literally, what, a week and a half ago, and we had to deliver things like like a lot of health data really quickly. And luckily, I'm telling you, telehealth is the best thing ever. But luckily with telehealth, we were able to do that. And I was able to do some really basic things because I have a very old Apple Watch. But I am a believer in this technology. And so I'd like to hear what your thoughts on that as well. Do share with me how you and your family use this technology and what you're looking forward for the next year. Let's take a look at where the market is. Oh, unfortunately, one of the categories is now in the red and negative, but the Dow is currently up 51 points. NASDAQ is up just 2 points. And the S&P is down less than a point, but it is in negative territory. We've got only about 32 minutes left in the market, so let's hopefully that comes back and improves. But thank you so much, my friends, for being here and joining me live. We'll definitely be back again before the end of the year. And welcome to the show for those who are brand new. A huge shout out to our amazing audience. You are so amazing for being here with me. If you can give me a like, and hit that subscribe button so they can stay in the loop for all our latest updates. And don't forget, you can catch full episodes of Love Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, LG, Roku, just to name a few. And when you share this episode, make sure to tag at Winnie Sun so I can properly thank you on a future episode. So huge shout out and thank you to Joshua and Vicky and Greg and so many of our friends for doing so. And for even more content, dive into Yes Factor with Winnie Sun on Apple Podcasts and the LinkedIn Podcast Network. Thank you so much. Take care. I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye now.